Hi, and welcome back to The Inside of My Head, where I'm looking at Pacific Rim Amara, which gives us some backstory into the character from Pacific Rim Uprising and her cutesy mini Jaeger scrapper. Anyone who's been following the channel will know that I've already covered the other Pacific Rim novels, and I'll link to that below. But I've put this one off because Uprising wasn't my favorite movie, Amara wasn't my favorite character, the art style from this didn't exactly blow me away. I do get the feeling that it's aimed at a slightly younger crowd, so I was left feeling a bit meh about it. But it would be silly not to complete the set, so let's do it. For anyone who hasn't seen Pacific Rim Uprising, Amara is one of the teen cadets who finds herself piloting Bracer Phoenix and then Gypsy Avenger in Gypsy's fight against the Mega Kaiju. The novel starts with the flashback scene from Uprising, where Amara Namani loses her parents as this attacks. This is Insurrector, and it's quickly countered by Striker Eureka and a Jaeger called Hydra Corinthian. I've spoken about Hydra Eureka plenty in my other videos, but Hydra Corinthian is a Mark IV Jaeger reportedly piloted by two women, called Kennedy LaRue and Stephanie Lanphier. They're never mentioned again though, so do what you like with that. And neither is Hydra Corinthian. So Amara falls into the ocean and is pulled out of the sea by a lifeguard. She realizes that she's been separated from her family, and Amara wanders around in the chaos for a while looking for them as the battle between Insurrector and the Jaegers rages above her. People are panicking all around her and debris is falling everywhere. After she gets trapped by some falling steel girders, this guy shows up to help her out. And this is Kai, in an early bare-bones chassis of the mini Jaeger that is known as Scrapper. Now Kai is an ex-tech entrepreneur, but not much more is known about his backstory. At first, Amara is fearful of him, but after he earns her trust, he takes her back to his lab where they introduce his assistant Hannah and their robotic puppy called Twitch. After a debate on whether or not to take Amara to an orphanage, they decide to let her stay. Then we jump to 6 years later, where Amara is tormented by the ghosts of her family who are trying to get her to join them in the afterlife by killing herself. Oh, those mind demons, how they play with us. Over the years of living with Hannah and Kai, she's learned to work on and build Jaegers, and unbeknownst to her surrogate family, gets into the salvage racing scene, where these guys modify salvage parts of Jaegers into racing vehicles to see who's the fastest. We have this one that's built from the hand of a Jaeger called Solar Prophet, this one that looks like Romeo Blue's head with a pair of tank tracks attached, and this one called Sting Blades, which looks like a centipedal scorpion thing, which looks pretty cool actually, and I quite like this thing. Anyway, Amara takes part in this race having stolen Kai's old Kawasaki that he's retrofitted with these retro boosters, before she falls right in the path of the oncoming Sting Blades, but Kai and Scrapper step in to save her. Now what you need to know is that these races are organized by Ada, who is somehow sponsored by this guy, who works for a mob boss called Mr. Bronislav. Now I don't know what the connection here, but there is some connection to Mech-Sar from Aftermath. But in this comic, Mech-Sar is referred to as a he, so I don't know if there's more than one Mech-Sar. I don't really know what's going on. Nor do I particularly care. Anyway, when this guy lays eyes on Scrapper and he recognizes that the mini Jaeger, his eyes light up and he's like, it will be mine, oh yes. It will be mine. So anyway, Kai takes Amara back to the warehouse for a scolding. Amara, being the rebellious teenager she is, then steals Scrapper as an act of rebellion, being the rebellion and teenager that she is. Wait, I got stuck there. So basically, Kai tells Amara off and she steals Scrapper, then goes straight back to the races and enters it into another race. Now in the middle of this race, Scrapper takes the lead when this guy is hit by a scrambling pulse, and another bot called Arachnaut shows up, and it becomes a two-horse race between Scrapper and Arachnaut, when suddenly Scrapper powers down, and Kai shows up with his kill switch that can turn Scrapper off remotely and gives Amara another telling off. The mobster guy offers to buy Scrapper on behalf of his mob boss, but Kai tells him where he can stick his offer and that Scrapper is not for sale. Amara then runs away, and Hannah, while she's looking for her, finds Twitch the puppy smashed to pieces, and that's just fucking uncalled for. This guy has clearly not seen John Wick and does not know what happens when you fuck with the puppies. But he shows up, demanding that they hand over Scrapper, and when Hannah refuses, well... and he makes off with Scrapper. So this guy's plan is to enter Scrapper into the race as his own mech as a way of rigging the races in his favor and make loads of money from the illegal betting. So with Scrapper in the hands of this evil kid called Yaozu, Kai tries to use his kill switch on Scrapper but finds that the kill switch has been turned off by the bad guys. And Kai is just about to be killed by his own creation when Amara shows up in Arachnaut. Now, I don't know how she pulled this off exactly, but she uses its Scramble Pulse to disable Scrapper, if only temporarily. There's a battle between Arachnaut and Scrapper before Scrapper gets the upper hand, and Amara has to climb out onto Scrapper's body, and using her knowledge of the bot, finds a weak spot in the cabling and severs its control. This causes Scrapper to start lurching around uncontrollably, and Kai is killed in the conflict, leaving Amara an orphan for the second time. We jump ahead in time to where Amara has rebuilt Scrapper, with the final panel stating that she only has one more part left to find. Of course, this is referring to the power core scene from the start of Pacific Rim Uprising, which leads her to meet Jake Pentecost. Now, I was expecting not much from Amara, and not much is exactly what I got. If you were hoping for new Jaegers, nope. If you were hoping for new kaiju, nope. A little more insight into this character, sure. But did it make me like her anymore? Or make me want to see more of her in the future? Not really. She has the skills to build her own giant robot, you gotta respect that, but she's really peripheral to the overall war against the kaiju plot, and this story does nothing to change that. The Jaeger racing scene was an interesting prospect, but it could have equally have been the illegal Jaeger fighting contest that we'd heard about in Aftermath, which would have been miles better. And all this just kind of reinforces that feeling that it's aimed at the younger Pacific Rim fan. And that's fine, but I'm sure they could have made it more interesting than this. Anyway, that's it for the Pacific Rim graphic novels, apart from the soon-to-drop Blackout, and as soon as I get my hands on that, I will have a video out for you. So for now, please consider subscribing to the channel, and feel free to get out of my head, and I will see you very soon for the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and cheerio, bye!